Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sage Thyme. I am Lillian. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're in this world. I am grateful that you are alive and you're you're with us all and we are with you. You matter and you are loved. And Jupiter just howled in the background saying, "Yes, yes, you are." So if you have watched the invocation that I posted previous to this one being posted for the Banquet of the Soul meditation, prayer, communication, and invocation. This reading is the segue. We'll talk a little bit about maybe what you're going through, what you've been working through in the recent past, or I'm really feeling this has been a bit of a long-term thing, maybe ebbing and flowing, but it's funny when things ebb and flow over decades or the duration of our life. It feels like they're just there all the time. So, um, um, I mentioned earlier, or in the invocation, the card that I pulled, Fortitude. So I want to bring that back up again and have you have a good look on that. And we've got down in the lower corner the elk, just barely kind of watermarked in there. We have a river otter, the falcon, behind the falcon, the cougar or puma, the man of the woods, the man of the wood, and then crowning him is the wolf. And look at all of their eyes. These are eyes that have been through it, and in different ways they are looking out upon the world. The sea otter isn't even looking forward. He's like, yeah. And the falcon's got this a bit of a, I'm looking over and beyond what's going on. The cougar looks just like she's had it. And the man is this incredible mixture of exhaustion and perseverance, focus, and a bit of despair. And yet the wolf on top, he's simply present, calm, a bit gentle and loving. And the man holds a chain with a little glowing heart, and it looks like there's a keyhole in the center of it. So we'll get to reading that description from the Sacred Earth Oracle at the end of this reading. So at the pre-shuffle, the two cards that came out are the Five of Cups and the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So, okay. So what this is saying to me right now, the Five of Cups in reverse, we know the Five of Cups speaks to just that destitution, that lack of fulfillment, and honestly, it's again that despair in a way, but it's even more vacuous than that, that occurs after long-term, prolonged pushing, pushing that boulder up the hill like Atlas, trying to hold the positive, trying to conjure compassion and purpose within ourselves when we're up against a wall and surrounded by systems or people that I'm seeing with the broken glasses here, the broken mugs just break us down. And there's two mugs that are upright and not broken, and they have little glowworms, little flickers of light and promise. And yet there's three that are broken, shattered, fallen down. And so it's really, and one of the little glow bugs is on its way out the cup. And I feel like that's kind of where you've been for a long time, holding that sense of perseverance and, yeah, but also how long? Is this a lifetime thing? And I'm also feeling now that sense of a complacency or despondency of, I guess I'll just keep going. But see, here's the thing about you. You don't surrender to despondency. You feel it. I can feel that. But you're not surrendering to it. Even if it overtakes you, there is still, I'm hearing, damn it, there is still that little flicker, that last cup, that one and almost one cup that is holding on to hope that there will be fulfillment, that there will be that salve, that balm of peace and love and connection. And so, having that only one cup left, having it tipped upside down, even, is that feeling of not giving up anymore, because you know you're not going to give up. You're still here. And you know that you may feel like you're going to give up at times, but you also know you felt those feelings before and you're still here. And so you're tipping the whole scene upside down and you're letting that one little glow bug that stays in the cup be you the cup, you the glow, the light, the spark of hope. And that's where your focus has been. And you have been, and you're now more and more powerfully having that, regardless of the external circumstances, having that hope, that flicker of light within you be a part of you, because it is, and you're learning to communicate with it and nurture it and build it and grow it and bloom it. And even when the world outside and around you starts throwing punches and dirty mud poo and whatever else, or is just chaotic and infiltrating your peace, you're sitting there going, you know what? All right, I'm going to work on the controllables. And the controllables are that peaceful yin, feminine darkness within me, that comforting love and appreciation, that enveloping container that holds the light that is my soul spark. And I'm going to grow it and love it and let that container protect it and nourish it and nurture it with that pure, honest love that the darkness, only the darkness can give. And the light gives space and possibility and informing vision, all working together from a place of love and truth. And there's that moth just diving down. Like, you know what? I'm going in. I'm going in because I'm feeling all the feels and I'm not going to fight it anymore. And I'm not going to allow it to swallow me. I'm just going to dive in because you have been learning how to breathe in the darkest depths of the water. And you have been learning to fly through the skies. And Jupiter is all about it. Now, the Two of Pentacles in reverse. What are we saying here, Spirit? I, mm. So this is talking more about there hasn't been an ability. People say, oh, you need to be able to balance your choices and actions and being pentacles, especially rather than wands, you balancing your resources and finances. And I feel like you've been squeezed, marginalized is the more social cultural term, into a position where you don't have a lot to work with to create a balance. It's kind of like, if I only have enough income or resources for 50% of the food that I need to stay alive, there's not a lot that I can be balancing. And you're making all the best choices you can given your circumstances. And so there's just this racket behind me right now. So shaking things up. And so this is telling me you gave it to God. You gave it to your highest self. You gave it to the universe. And you've been doing that more and more. And it's been paying off because having this in reverse, you can see the whole scene again has been turned upside down. And now what was in the depths is now flying through the sky. And what was in the sky is now learning to breathe underwater and creating that little spark of light. That's that same little light in the cup, the light within you. And you're encircling it with those intentions of balance, balanced choices, balanced living, a lifestyle that's in balance, not just with your resources, but the resources of this world, this planet that we call home. More and more every day, every week, every month, every year being a landmark of how significant the changes of your choices are in making choices not just for your good, but for the good of this planet and its ecosystem and its inhabitants and its ability to bring fulfillment, bring sense of nurturing and interconnected love. By wanting that interconnection, that respectful and honoring love, we give it. And we give it to the whole of the system. And the biggest, greatest whole of the system on this planet is this planet. It's our home, it's our ecosystem. And then it's one another. And we do that within first to create that clarity and that realization. And then we start taking the steps. And each time we take the steps and we turn it over to divine design, we start seeing that coming back to us. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. Sometimes it takes a long time. Because, we as individuals and the humans as a race have been taking and parasiting from the ecosystems out of balance for a very long time. A very long time. And even those that hold on to the tradition of living in balance, a lot of them have been struggling with making choices that are truly in balance and not compromising within a justification of, well, I need to compromise this to get this. And I'm not saying that that's not true. Sometimes it can be the truth. Sometimes. And the point is then if that absolutely has to be done, a compromise and allowing oneself to, buy groceries that are not ethically sourced, buy materials to, all the things, all the things. If that is truly true, that there really isn't much choice, then we sit with that and we allow the weight of the consequences to enter us. The consequences that domino that reverberate across the world, those that are marginalized because of us contributing to a system, contributing to the corporations and the individuals profiting off of it, contributing to the warring and so forth. And I know this is getting a little heavy now, but that's the point. We are meant to be able to experience and endure with full throttle responsibility the consequences of our choices, not with self-loathing or resentment, but with shit. Yeah, I did that. And now I feel what happened to some kid across the world, or a bunch of girls, or animals, or an entire society or country. We may only be a drop in the ocean of that wave that crushed the situation. But when we pull away our one drop, because we're consciously saying no more, when we pull that back and we claim that, we not only claim our power and strengthen that inner light, it creates a magnetism of all the other individuals that are little droplets of that sea to start to feel that pull, that affirming confirmation, that clear conscious intention of no more, and I'm making a choice to say no more. It creates a magnetism all the little droplets of individuals around you, and they start waking up and they start experiencing the weight, the full throttle of the consequences of their choices. That's the awakening process that we've been seeing and rippling across this planet exponentially. And it's because people like you have been enduring and allowing yourself to suffer the consequences that from the choices that we make that others suffer. And you've been doing it with compassion for yourself and for others, even when it felt like, or it truly was, a choice that we had to make, that there really wasn't any other choice. Because this is a systemic situation. And so we don't always have that option. And still, we take responsibility for it. We take accountability. And part of the biggest way of doing that is empathically feeling it. And that's the change maker. That's the change maker that ripples exponentially and powerfully and long term sustainably across the planet. Because when everybody's feeling the pain of their passions, of their choices, of their denials and justifications, or even of their only choices within a marginalized circumstance, they start feeling and calling in the clarity of what better choices they can make. That is real personal empowerment. That is real power. That is where the power of the one is then working with the power of the all. The spirits, the angels, the ancestors, the everything and everyone, everywhere. And it may feel small because we don't see all of it everywhere, but it's real. Wow. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, let's see this deck, the Green Witch's Oracle deck. Wanted to bring through, I believe, something woo, positive. All right. Let's see one more if we can bring a little bit more to that. All right, very good. All right, here we go. I think I got a shout out to Dylan at My Soul right now because I believe recently he pulled these exact two cards in a reading. Ah, well, hi Dylan from My Soul. We've got Preserve and Chamomile. And you know, I will simply echo what I feel like I remember he said. Staying in that place of calm, gentleness, relaxation, even when we're feeling the daggers and the spitfires and the judges and the distorted opinions coming at us and swirling all around us, keep returning to the breath, keep returning to that calm peacefulness, and keep allowing yourself to remember to intend and ask all those divine beings around you, all the supportive ancestors and ascended masters, remembering to ask them, be with me now. Please and thank you for reminding me how to open up to your love and support so that I can feel it and know it. And I can remember the truth of who I am. And you breathe and you allow. And it's only in that opening and allowing, even just the intention and imagination of it, that we can relinquish the constriction of the fear and the protection. It's that jagged edges that we may be feeling while allowing compassion to. I love that little Tai Chi move I just had come through me, where we allow compassion to fill us. And chamomile is a big partner in that. Chamomile spirit medicine knows compassion because it knows it's a delicate, tiny little flower close to the ground. It doesn't have any personal resources or wherewithal to fight back. It's vulnerable. and tender. And yet, chamomile brings some of the most potent and powerful medicine, gentle medicine, reminder medicine. And it speaks about rest and sleep too. And that's coming in along with the preserve, but also is coming in a literal message. Yeah, okay. It's coming in that literal message of how to look at the way one of the first things that I started working with in the beginning of making my steps back up into life and this journey of accountability while also honoring my own needs of self is food and water. Those were the two top priorities. I wasn't living in a situation where I had access to safe and healthy water, and food was just a non-existent thing. And then when it was existent, I took whatever I could get, which often was not healthy, nor was it close to fresh. So as I started continuing to hold true, and I had a lot of subtle realm support, holding true to my integrity as much as possible to bring in and purchase and consume only things that were of a benefit to my body and the world as a whole, the planet as a whole. The more I started doing it, then the more resources I started getting to be able to then choose more of the foods that I could buy, um, and have more diversity and more food. And in doing that, in that process, I learned very quickly from the start things that I could preserve, things that I could either can or freeze. Soups being a big one, right? You can make all kinds of variety of natural, organic vegetable soup, and beans by buying, organic, well-sourced dried beans, dried rice, all bulk, and vegetables. And yeah, you're spending more money on the organic and fair trade, but you're buying less and it's making more. And then some fresh herbs. So I'd make all kinds of kitchen witchery, right? And I'd pour my love and intention into each, even when I bought, and I still do, even when I buy animal products. I don't simply make. Recently, I made my spring chicken vegetable soup. And so I buy a whole chicken and I do ceremony over the animal. And in that ceremony, what I mean by that is I connect through the timeline past because time isn't strictly linear. And I can connect to the animal, to the chicken and its spirit and its life and what it was experiencing. And I can be with them and I can call in support and I can call in love and clarity and calm and peace and be with them in their final minutes and hours, even a grander picture of their lifetime. And so here's where buying chicken from a farm that has chickens that are truly free range, out in fields, enjoying their life, eating naturally and healthfully makes a difference when I'm connecting with a chicken that's going through that versus, I don't know, it's interesting, I'm getting into this detail, versus connecting with a non-organic chicken that's in a cage or in a small space just filled with dirt and crappy feed, and that's their life. So you can see how that also benefits me in my own personal endeavors of accountability. I connect through time and space empathically and into their experience. That's part of the accountability. And that is a big reason why the empathic sensitivity and the heightened senses of humanity is shooting through the roof. It is so that we can truly be an experiential part of accountability for our choices. Ooh, I'm hearing yes. And so, on a practical level, doing things that you need less and you buy better quality and it's better sourced and you preserve, and then Oh, it says here forethought and thrift and security. And that's what starts bringing it back. The earth is a consciousness. She has astute and vast consciousness. She can feel the whole thing, she can feel the community, and she can hone in on each one of us. And she knows what we're doing and why and what our circumstances are. She's a powerful goddess. I mean, yes. And I know this. I know this because I know this. And if you've gone through enough of the steps and stages, you to some degree know this too. So when we take the best steps that we can, given what we have available to us, both honoring ourselves in balance, here's that reverse Two of Pentacles, bringing that up into balance, balancing our own personal needs and where we are in our journey with our effect in how we spend our money, our resources in the world. And the more that that is in a balance that is cyclical and ascending, improving our surrounding circumstances as well as our internal healing and growth, the more she, the consciousness of the planet and the consciousness of everything within the firmament, which is the more masculine, the information, can then bring that abundance back to us threefold, tenfold, and on and on. And so that takes some deliberation and deliberate choice. And it takes presence. And it also takes allowance of those moments of feeling the weight of the consequences, even though it feels like the consequences that are coming at us or surrounding us and affecting us have nothing to do with us. We didn't do that. We didn't make that person feel that way. There is a way to see the greater picture and all the details, and in doing so, and I don't super recommend it because it's really hard on the nervous system, but if you're called into it, you're called into it, and that means you need to simply know that it's true. If that's enough, then let that be. If that's not enough, allow yourself to open up to being shown and ask the guides and the spirits around you to show you the truth of it and the greater truth. So that was an interesting side tangent. Let's go into this video. Oh, it's not too long. Let's go into, yeah, we'll go the card Fortitude from the Sacred Earth Oracle. Oh, interesting. I've flipped in and the card Preservation, which is also the akin to the Death card. But Preservation was Preserve was the other. So, okay, I'm seeing why that's coming through. Part of it is preserving your own energy. So preserving your resources, preserving the state of the planet and the ecosystem of the planet, as well as preserving yourself. And that does require periods and times of seclusion and isolation. Okay. Formation, Fortitude. Here we go. All right, little sippy. Okay, here we go. Try to see name calling, roadblocks, or challenges as insignificant annoyances. You can see this through strong foundations, core values, and lofty ideals will outlast, outsmart, and outclass a detractor. Okay. It will take less energy to stand firm now than it will to back down. Steady your focus on the bigger picture. Be stoic. You can get through this. I feel I would have worded a lot of this more differently, but I encourage you to hear the words as they apply to you. The spiritual meaning. That you are dearly loved is an eternal truth. For in the grand cosmic scheme of things, love is the only thing that never changes. And that's from the previous invocation. Yeah. Love is the only thing that never changes. When all around you changes, as it most surely will, love will always be there. The fact that you are dearly loved will never change. For to love is love's will. Oh, that's beautiful. And then the insight. The mountain watches the comings and goings of time. Snow or fire may ravage its surface, but its center is unchanged. Ice drifts into streams that reach out into the oceans. Ash sinks into soil and rekindles growth. Pardon me. You are a mountain. The comings and goings of life might rage on the surface, but your center is strong, watchful, and enduring. Harsh words, criticisms, and doubts are like pebbles. They might be flung your way, and you may notice them, but they cannot touch you at your core. That little light inside your cup. The mountain is anchored deep in the earth and rises beyond the clouds. Feel the sure footings of your foundation. Connect to your center that cannot be rocked. Rise to your lofty heights, and you can see forever. That is beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. What a great card. I had not come across this one until today. All right, my friends, this has been good. It has been a really good journey to gather in with Spirit. I'm grateful that you're here. Always grateful. You are important and you are loved. You matter to me and you matter to everything and everyone here. They may not know it. I know it. And you get to hold that remembering and that knowing. That is your light. That is your core truth. I love you so much. Take care. Ahom.